Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news this noon, the UNC Board of Trustees has called an emergency meeting. This could be seen as the final step before hiring a new head coach for the Tar Heels football team.
And we have a band of rain with strong winds moving fast across our viewing area. I'll show you what to expect as this moves through.
We'll get you to that breaking story involving the search for a new head football coach for UNC Chapel Hill. But we begin with the WRAL Weather Alert Day with that heavy rain and storms moving through our area right now. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. We have team coverage this hour with the Storm Tracker, keeping an eye on road conditions. We begin with Elizabeth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center and a look at the timeline for rain throughout the afternoon.
You can see this band showing up here in red and yellow. As this moved across the studios here, we could hear it on the roof. It was so loud. This band is moving at about 70 miles per hour, so it's not going to be in any one place for very long. It has winds that are gusting to 40, and that can do some minor damage. It doesn't make it severe criteria, which would be 58 miles per hour. But we could see some gusts that are reaching that eventually as it continues to move eastward. So it's stretching all the way up from Vance County down toward Fayetteville, moving right through the triangle. We'll zoom in a little closer and you can see it's a powerful band, again, moving very fast, producing some strong gusty wind and some heavy rain. Let's take a look at where our storm tracker is right now. And we have Kelsey Coffey, who is out in the storm tracker currently, and she's just right outside of Raleigh. What are you seeing right now? It looks like it's coming down pretty heavily.
Elizabeth, everyone may be able to hear the rain just pelting down on the storm tracker right now. We'll take you now to a live look of the Beltline here. So we are trying to get off on the Wade Avenue exit here in a couple of minutes. Right now we are on our way to Orange County, so we're going to have to make a little turnaround here from where we are right now. But we have just seen so much rain throughout the entire morning. On our morning show, we were in the storm tracker, so we've easily driven over 100 miles between Durham County, Orange County, and Wake County. So we'll be sure to keep folks updated on what's happening out there in Orange County. Elizabeth?
Oh, thank you so much, Kelsey. It's messy out there, especially right now with that heavy band coming through. We're going to see totals of 1 to 2 inches of rain. We have a level 1 risk for severe storms as we get through the afternoon, and winds potentially gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. We're definitely seeing that with this band coming through. So this is a look at the big picture. We have the cold front that is moving across the region right now, and we can follow that here on Futurecast starting here at lunchtime. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, it is pushed out of the viewing area, and at that point, we'll start to see temperatures dropping. Coming up, we're going to talk about some specific rainfall totals that we've seen so far today.
And in keeping with the inclement weather here in the WRAL Live Center, we're getting word that the Chinese Lantern Festival will be closed tonight because of rain and strong winds in the forecast. Take a look at the current pictures from this year's exhibit at the Kokoboot Amphitheater in Cary. The festival is expected to reopen tomorrow. Now, if you have tickets for tonight, they will be honored at any other night during the festival. Now, if for some reason no other night is convenient, there is a refund option online. Just log on to boothamphitheater.com, mark the spelling of theater, boothamphitheater.com. Keep in mind the festival runs through January 12th.
And we'd like to see what's going on in your area. Download the WRAL News app on your phone. When it's safe, send us pictures or video of damage or flooding near you.
Now we get back to that big breaking news. The UNC Board of Trustees has called an emergency meeting. We're told the board will discuss offering the head football coaching job to Bill Belichick. WRAL's Brian Murphy is here live in studio with us with how this could all play out here, Brian.
Yeah, the meeting has not been called yet, but we've been told by sources that one is expected this afternoon. An announcement announcing Bill Belichick as the next head coach at UNC could come even before that. It's a remarkable and would be a stunning hire for a program that's been middle of the pack in the ACC and now may land an NFL coaching legend with 6 Super Bowl championships.
Yeah, Hall of Famer in that regard. No college coaching experience, though.
That would be the concern. He has never coached in college, and college football is a much different animal than the NFL. Players have to go to class. They can't practice all day. You also can't cut players who you don't like how they're performing. So there would be a lot of obstacles. Belichick, notoriously known for being meticulous, having lots of details, lots of plans. I would expect if he's taking this job at UNC, he has a full plan for how he wants to implement his program.
Yeah, potentially hundreds of pages of a plan rolling out and getting these kids on a path, which could be an incentive towards the NFL.
Yeah, it would be a unique recruiting pitch, I think, that Bill Belichick and his staff would put in. We've seen someone like Deion Sanders doesn't go to high schools and recruit. I wouldn't expect Belichick to be showing up at high schools on Friday night, but he will put in a plan that will get people to the NFL and, in theory, win games. I mean, this guy has 333 NFL victories, second most all time. Can he translate that football acumen to the college level?
Yeah, we usually don't hear this much talk before a coaching hire, so maybe this puts an end to it. We will see.
Yeah, a lot of buzz about Bill Belichick.
We'll find out if it's Chapel Bill here coming up soon. If we learn the decision during this newscast, we will be sure to report it right here. If a decision happens between newscasts before 4 o'clock this afternoon, we will break in and have that news for you on WRAL.com and WRAL News Plus. Brian, thank you for the insight. Appreciate it. Renee?
The impact Helene had on North Carolina this morning. North Carolina lawmakers got an update on efforts to help Helene victims in Western North Carolina. WRAL's Eric Miller was there for today's presentations. Eric.
Renee, a lot of new numbers coming out of this committee meeting in the House this morning today that again just emphasize how singular, how unique, and how absolutely devastating this storm was. Among the updates we got, we learned that within the last week or two, we still have 6 people here in North Carolina that are missing, and nearly 5,000 people who were in some kind of transitional shelter, whether that's a tent, whether that's a hotel room, whether that's a trailer, scattered from North Carolina all the way to Florida. Of course, you take a look at these images here, you can just remember how devastating this storm was. We learned today 273,000 people in the disaster area have applied for FEMA assistance so far, and there are still a significant number of jurisdictions, according to state officials, that are in just the basic relief mode of this operation, trying to provide some kind of shelter for people. And now that things have turned cold, now that those icy winter winds have started blowing, trying to provide things like heat, things like coats, or even just continuing basic governmental assistance. We also learned that as expensive as we already knew this storm was likely to be, remember that projection, $53 billion made just after this storm, state officials today saying that was likely an underestimate of how expensive it's going to be. It's likely to cost the state about 10% more in damage from this storm. Just take a listen to what officials have to say here.
It's going to remind us of the unfortunate loss of 103 lives in this storm and just the enormity of this storm, unlike anything else we have seen.
Now, of course, there's also been a lot of back and forth over how best to respond, and we do have that veto override vote coming up later today in the House, that combination Helene relief bill as well as that bill that strips power away from incoming Democratic state officials. We'll be watching very closely to see what happens in the House there. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
The race for a seat on the state Supreme Court goes before elections officials today. North Carolina officials are scheduled to hear arguments over a protest from Republican Jefferson Griffin. He trails Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs by fewer than 800 votes after 2 recounts. Griffin wants officials to toss out more than 60,000 ballots over claims of fraud or irregularities. The board could dismiss the protests, or if problems are found, the board could order corrective ballot tallies, more recounts, or even new elections.
Just a short time ago, opening statements began in the 2023 murder trial for a Raleigh grocery store owner. Jurors will decide if Tazir Zarka acted in self-defense when he stabbed Mark Garrity in 2023. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is live at the Wake County Courthouse, where the judge decided to allow the jury to watch video of the deadly confrontation. Chelsea.
Yeah, and I just came out of the courtroom where the state has called their first witness, actually a bartender at Raleigh Times, which is right near Taz's supermarket on Wilmington Street. This is a witness that testified that he worked to provide aid to 27-year-old Mark Garrity, who had been stabbed 3 times in the chest. As you mentioned earlier this morning, this defense petitioned that the judge not allow this 15 minutes of video that depicts the entire stabbing back in April of last year of 27-year-old Mark Garrity to be shown to the jurors. Now, the state says the video shows Mark being detained in the store on Wilmington Street, fighting with Taz, and then Taz stabbing Garrity in the chest.
And as we bring you back this noon, this is a live look right now from the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads. I-40 headed westbound right now, nearing 540. And this is much of the same view you'll get in a lot of areas around our viewing area, and headed towards Orange County for a look there where some of the heaviest rain is falling right now. Pope Francis says he is praying that the Syrian population will live in peace and security in their homeland. The head of the Catholic Church has previously donated funds to help the needy in war-ravaged Syria. The Pope says he hopes leaders will be able to establish stability and unity in the country. Syria had been ruled by the Assad family for 50 years and gripped by a civil war since 2011 before rebel groups took control of Damascus Sunday.
This morning, the family of a missing Broadway dancer tackled the woods in Richland County, South Carolina, in search of clues. 28-year-old Zelig Williams was last seen October 3rd. His mother says later that day, one of her son's friends in New York City reached out saying they received an SOS alert on their phone indicating Williams had been in a car crash. Since then, search crews have scoured the Palmetto trailhead searching for Williams.
We're going to leave no stone unturned. We'll be back out in the woods as many times as we have to, searching for clues.
According to the family, Williams is believed to have been spotted several times. The Richland County Sheriff's Office is following up on those leads.
The man who attacked a Las Vegas judge earlier this year will spend at least 26 years in prison. This is video of that moment in January when Deobra Redden jumped over the bench, landing right on top of the judge. Redden was being sentenced for an aggravated battery charge and had entered a guilty plea during the hearing. But after being denied bail, Redden could be seen attacking the judge. Redden suffers from schizophrenia, and during sentencing, he told the court he is not an evil person.
I saw nothing but red, and I don't remember doing anything except for jumping on top of her and doing this to her robe. I was like, why are you doing this to me? That's what I wanted to ask her, if I think I know myself, but I'm not really sure.
Redden has an extensive rap sheet, including violent crimes, and was not on medication when he attacked that judge.
A new study reveals that many women in the U.S. do not take advantage of family planning assistance. This includes access to prescription birth control, emergency contraception, and counseling related to reproduction. Advocates had hoped more women would rely on these services in light of the Dobbs decision that limited abortion access. In 2022 and 23, only about a third of women of reproductive age received family planning services in the previous 12 months. Walgreens could be getting a new owner. The drugstore chain is in talks to sell itself to the private equity firm Sycamore Partners. The deal talks come as Walgreens continues to lose market value. Nearly 10 years ago, it had a market value of more than $100 billion. As of this past Monday, its value was $7.5 billion. The chain has been hit by competition from retail rivals, along with a drop in how much it gets reimbursed for prescription drugs.
Get ready for 2 hours of holiday tunes and classic Motown hits.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Smokey Robinson and Halle Bailey host a Motown Christmas. The special features music by The Temptations, Gladys Knight and the Pips, and many more. Cozy up in the family room for a night of holiday cheer at 9 p.m. right here on WRAL. We're also just days away from the Durham Holiday Parade. Join WRAL's Ken Smith, Ashley Rowe, and Grace Haba for floats, marching bands, dance groups, and Santa himself. Our live coverage of the Durham Holiday Parade starts Saturday at 10 a.m. on WRAL. Hopefully all the rain will be washed away by then.
Yeah, and temperatures will start feeling festive for that. Right now, it's still kind of warm and muggy, and certainly a lot of rain coming down in parts of the viewing area. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking it all, getting good amounts of rain in those rain gauges.
We're finally starting to pick up the back edge of the rain. It's still pretty far off to the west, but it's moved through the mountains right around the I-77 corridor, so west of the Triad. This is the line of thunderstorms that the models have been advertising for the last day or so. As it's moved into the Triangle area, it is definitely weakening, just like the band that we saw this morning. But it still has the potential to produce some heavy rain, some strong winds up to 40 miles per hour, but that doesn't put it at severe criteria. So watching that closely as it moves along and east of I-95, it could regenerate a bit. So again, we'll have our close eye on that from Anger up through just east of Raleigh, Rollsville, Lewisburg, and up toward Roanoke Rapids is where that line is right now. This is a look at Storm Tracker just south of Durham right now. We have some pictures to share with you of what the Storm Tracker is seeing as the Storm Tracker is out and about taking a look at the roads. Of course, the rain is a little less heavy on the other side of that line, but we still have a lot of it to go. It's likely to be 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon before we see the rain tapering off. But if you're traveling here on I-40 this evening, you should be in the dry at that point. We'll get back to Futurecast coming up or to the Storm Tracker in just a little bit. We'll have the potential for rain up through around 5 o'clock. Mainly, we'll see an issue for some strong winds, maybe some isolated wind damage. East of our viewing area, isolated tornadoes are possible, and some traffic impacts are likely if you're going to be out and about for a bit. Here's a look at where that front is now. Of course, continuing to slide eastward with still plenty of rain back to the west. Level 1 risk for severe storms along the I-95 corridor, and then closer to the coast, it's that level 2 risk. Here's Futurecast, and you can see the back edge of the rain moving into our viewing area at around 3 o'clock. We push it ahead at 5 o'clock. It's mostly out of here. So it's on its way out. Once it moves out, it will continue to be on the breezy side and turning much cooler. Speaking of breezy, here's a live look at Wilson right now. Winds are really kicking up there. 64 degrees is the temperature. Right now we're gusting to 32 in Raleigh, 28 in Southern Pines, 16 in Goldsboro, 29 in Fayetteville. So it's windy out there right now. Our winds will continue to be gusty through the evening. Look what happens to our temperatures. By midnight, we drop down into the 30s, and it is going to be much colder tomorrow morning. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s. So it was a very warm start this morning. A totally different weather pattern rolls in just in time for tomorrow. And here's a look at where that weather pattern is right now. I was hoping the camera wasn't going to shift just like that. If it'll hold still for a second, you can see some pretty big snowflakes falling there in Boone. That's some of the colder air that's headed our way. We check out the Durham Holiday Parade. We were just talking about it a second ago. Temperatures, as Renee said, will be festive at 10 o'clock, 45 degrees, 48 at 11, and at 12:51. So not bitterly cold. We'll start with some sunshine, and we'll see increasing clouds as we get through the day on Saturday. That's because we have the potential for some showers on Sunday. Doesn't look like a lot of heavy rain. And then after that, big warm up for Monday and Tuesday. We've had a significant amount of rain so far in some places. Coming up in just a little bit, I'll show you how much.
And we've needed that rain. Elizabeth, thanks. Whether it's a weekend or during the week, one spot in Raleigh is filling up with businesses, drawing in hundreds of people. Today on WRAL News at 4, the future plans to add more to Raleigh Ironworks and how it's grown extensively over the last couple of months.
Also, a way to help ease your travel wait times when flying internationally. Could cause you even more headaches, though. Tonight at 6, 5 on your side shares warnings about sites charging you for free services. Plus, still ahead this noon, it is the season of giving, and Amazon is bringing back a popular program. How you can show your driver a little extra gratitude this holiday season.
A chatbot suggested that a teen kill his parents over screen time limits. And now those parents are suing. Why they say the technology poses a clear and present danger to kids. There's a new lawsuit that speaks to some of the worst fears about artificial intelligence.
The parents of an autistic teen claim a chatbot encouraged their child to commit self-harm and violence. NBC's Laura Jarrett puts that app to the test.
A clear and present danger to American youth. That's the blistering claim against a popular chatbot service, Character AI, now sued over disturbing content that parents say artificial intelligence pushes to children and teens. At the heart of the case, a feature on the app that allows users to chat with seemingly human-like characters known as companion chatbots. But according to the lawsuit, a bot coaxed a previously happy teenage boy into engaging in self-harm by cutting himself. The bot telling him, quote, "it felt good," and appearing to sympathize with the teen's complaints his parents had limited screen time, allegedly writing, "I'm not surprised when I read the news and see stuff like child kills parents after a decade of physical and emotional abuse." Lawyers for the parents say this isn't a design flaw, but the direct result of underlying design choices.
What we see is that it sends these kids down these terrible rabbit holes.
I tried out the app myself. I decided to go with a Roman playwright, and I asked him, "Are you real?" All right, we're chatting, and he says, "Of course I am real, you dolt." Google, also named in the lawsuit for its direct investment in character AI, distanced itself from the app, saying the two are completely separate, unrelated companies, and Google has never had a role in designing or managing their AI model or technologies. Character AI declined to comment on the lawsuit, but pushed back on the claim that the company has failed to establish safeguards for teens, saying, "We are introducing new safety features for users under 18 in addition to the tools already in place." Before you can even sign into the app, a birthday is required. But lawyers for the parents say that's not enough, as it does nothing to verify user ages. Laura Jarrett, NBC News.
It is a WRAL weather alert day, and we're keeping you safe on the roads this lunch hour. We'll show you the conditions from some of the WRAL storm tracker views here and what we can expect during the evening commute as well.
Plus, what we know about Bill Belichick possibly being named UNC's next coach as the Board of Trustees calls an emergency meeting. But first, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. It is a WRAL weather alert day, and the bands of rain are showing no signs of letting up anytime soon.
In the first half hour, the WRAL storm tracker gave us a look at the road conditions out there. 40 westbound headed towards Orange County. And we begin with Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now, looking at this timeline for the rain through the afternoon.
This is definitely going to be almost an all-day rain. It started last night. It's not going to end until mid to late afternoon. The big change that we've seen just in the last 30 minutes or so is this was a really strong, fast-moving band of rain, and it's weakened considerably. Let's zoom in here. This is really all that's left of was some very heavy rain. It's still coming down pretty steadily here, but it's slowed down in terms of its speed, and the winds have started to slow down as well. As it continues to move eastward, we'll see some showers moving toward the I-95 corridor. But that was a big, hefty band of rain there. We have Kelsey Coffey in the storm tracker, and she is headed down I-40 there, moving towards Hillsborough, actually, on I-40. How's it looking there right now, Kelsey?
Elizabeth, right now we're just seeing light rain, but we're on our way to Old Spring Road because we're hearing reports from the Orange County Sheriff's Office that there's some standing water there. But we'll just give you a live look now at road conditions here. So kind of quiet for the moment here in Hillsborough, but definitely still wet roads. But whenever we were in Raleigh about 30 minutes ago, just after the Wade Avenue exit, we saw a lot of standing water there. Cars really had to slow down. A couple of folks put on their hazard lights, so definitely be careful if you're out there on the roads. Elizabeth?
Thank you very much. Be careful out there as you're checking things out. We are still looking at totals at about 1 to 2 inches of rain. We're going to take another close look at how much we've seen so far. Coming up, level 1 risk of severe storms for the eastern part of our viewing area and the potential for gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. We've definitely seen some gusts already up to around 30, 35. There's a look at the front. The back edge of the rain is getting a little bit closer to, say, Charlotte and Winston-Salem. The winds have started to die down. As I mentioned, we're gusting to 29 in Fayetteville, 16 in Goldsboro, and 26 in Southern Pines. That's a little lower than when we checked in with the winds about 30 minutes or so ago. Once we get to 5 o'clock, all of this slides eastward, and the next thing that happens is we clear but turn much colder. I'll show you how many really cold mornings we have in our forecast coming up.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, the inclement weather leading to another cancellation of a holiday event tonight. We're just getting word that the Holiday Express at Poland Park will not go on as scheduled tonight. As Elizabeth just mentioned, there's rain and strong winds in the forecast. As a precaution, they're shutting it down tonight. Now, make a note of this. The rain date, if you have tickets for tonight, the rain date is December 19th. Again, the Holiday Express at Poland Park not happening tonight. The rain date, those tickets for tonight will be honored on December 19th.
A good call there. You can track severe weather anytime with the WRAL News app. It lets you watch the latest forecast and check out the radar. Be sure you have the WRAL News app installed on your phone and turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. The WRAL News app is available for Apple and Android devices.
We're keeping close watch on the news. We first reported to you at the top of the hour. Sources tell WRAL the UNC Board of Trustees will soon call an emergency meeting. We're told the board will discuss offering the head football coaching job to Bill Belichick. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in Chapel Hill right now with what we know so far. Monica.
Yeah, Jeff, we learned that through source work that the UNC Board of Trustees has an emergency meeting scheduled for later today to discuss a contract for a new coach. Now, where the board meets varies. Sometimes it is virtual and sometimes it's in person here at the Spangler Center near campus. Now, this is a big deal because board approval of a contract is necessary in the school's process to hire a new coach. We know the school has offered legendary NFL coach Bill Belichick the job. He won 6 Super Bowls coaching the New England Patriots, but he doesn't have any college coaching experience. Now, we are working with our sources to get up-to-the-minute information about the decision-making here at UNC. Make sure you keep your phone handy for any push alerts that might be coming your way about what is happening with this coaching situation. Live in Chapel Hill, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And to that point, if we do learn a decision during this newscast within the next 25 minutes or so, we'll be sure to report it right here. If a decision happens between newscasts, we'll break it on the WRAL.com as well as WRAL News Plus.
New this noon, Google has announced a $1 million gift to North Carolina Central University to establish an institute for AI research. Leaders at the university say this will be a first-of-its-kind institute at an HBCU in the U.S. The initiative will provide cutting-edge courses, mentorship, and hands-on research opportunities with artificial intelligence.
So we recognize that talent is equal, but often opportunity is not. And so our goal here is to make sure that we're leveling the playing field and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate, not just in the development of artificial intelligence, but the research as well.
The grant will directly impact up to 200 students in its first 2 years.
Last week, the state Senate used its supermajority power to override Governor Cooper's veto that would have stopped lawmakers from taking some power from incoming Democrats. In just a few minutes, members of the state House are expected to follow suit. What it means for the future of state politics.
And Amazon drivers are busy delivering countless holiday packages. An easy way to give them a tip for a job well done. And right now, let's give you the view from the WRAL Storm Tracker on Eubanks Road. This is in Chapel Hill, and you can just see the wet weather just making driving conditions very slick there. So build yourself some extra time if you do have to go out this afternoon.
State House lawmakers are gathering in Raleigh today to try to override the governor's veto of a bill the governor says is unconstitutional. Protesters are also gathering already to make their voices heard. They called the measure a power grab at an event this morning. WRAL's Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie joins us live from the Legislative Building where those protesters are packing those public spaces there. Laura.
It looks quiet right now, but I'll step out of the way so you can see this rotunda area. These 2 stories just a few minutes ago were packed with about 100 protesters in colorful T-shirts and signs pledging to be back for the vote coming up this afternoon. They're focused on a bill that was passed by Republican lawmakers last month. Republicans called it a disaster relief bill, but the bulk of that bill was really focused on moving power away from incoming Democrats and giving it to Republicans. Now, Republicans say those changes they're making are within the law, but Democrats Democrats are calling it an unconstitutional power grab by a lame duck legislature. The bill strips powers from incoming Governor Josh Stein, Lieutenant Governor Rachel Hunt, Attorney General Jeff Jackson, and State Schools Chief Mo Green. The Republican lawmakers will lose their supermajority on January 1st, so this is about their final chance to override the governor's veto and put that bill into law without Democratic support. Protesters are here today to disrupt that. Western North Carolina community organizer Sam Stites says it's an insult to Helene victims to use a hurricane relief bill for political ends.
Western North Carolina is not a toy to be played with. It is not an opportunity to exploit. It is not a place to be so violently disrespected. Yet, we are standing here today because some in the General Assembly need a reminder.
Now, 3 House Republicans from Western North Carolina voted against this bill the first time, saying it did not do enough for storm victims. We're waiting to see today whether those 3 changed their mind and decide to vote to override the veto anyway. That House vote is expected later this afternoon. We are depending on whether or not Republicans have enough votes to make that happen. We are also expecting those protesters to be back at 3 o'clock for what's likely to be a very lively afternoon. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Still to come, connecting students with community through service. That's the mission of the Enloe High School Charity Ball. We'll learn how this year's event will help people who are experiencing homeless or at risk. Welcome back. This Saturday, students at Enloe High School will be hosting their annual charity ball. And joining us to talk about the event are Mimi Sanawane, and the Enloe Charity Ball Vice President of Publicity, and Malone Bridgers here. He's the Enloe Student Body President. Great to have you both with us.
Thank you for having us.
Malone, first we'll start with you. For those who aren't familiar, give us a little bit of the history of the charity ball and how it all started.
Yeah, so in 2004, Enloe students wanted to feel more connected to their community and have an impact on their community. And so through a silent auction and a dance, they raised $2,000 for Haven House, a local nonprofit. And since then, we've grown and grown into the organization that we are today.
Amazing, making an impact. And each year you pick a new charity, right? Mimi, talk about who the fundraising efforts will benefit this year.
So this year we've selected CASA. They work to house people in Raleigh who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And we particularly picked them because they have a new development called Kings Ridge, which is right across Newbern, right near Enloe, and it's directly going to house Enloe students and also reduce homelessness in Wake County by 10%, which we just found really striking.
Oh, fantastic. And it really is going to help so many people. And obviously, as you choose these charities, to find where you can make the biggest impact. So to date, how much money have you guys raised for these different community nonprofits?
Yeah. So in the past 18 years, we as a student-led organization have raised nearly $1.7 million for local nonprofits that directly impact not only the Enloe community, but also the Southeast Raleigh community. And this year we set a goal of $170,000 to raise for CASA. And we can't reveal how much we've raised yet, but Saturday night, come the big dance, the ball will reveal how much we've raised for CASA.
Can't wait to see that grand total. And I can only imagine how much planning and work this goes into this. And this is all driven by you guys, the students, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Mimi, what does it mean to you to be able to help in such an effort like this?
It's really shown me like the power of what we can do as youths. When I was younger, I was definitely someone who stepped back and watched other people do more things, and Charity Balls really pushed me to be someone who's a doer and who takes action.
And this certainly isn't the only charity event of the year. Talk about some of the other charity efforts you've done throughout the school year.
Yeah. So, throughout the school year, we as a student council, we don't want to be the only ones fundraising, and so we try to get the student body as involved as we can. And so we've had, up on the screen, there's a basketball tournament right now. We've had a basketball tournament, a kickball tournament, we had a chess tournament. We had a collaborative event with students from all our arts programs and different clubs. So we just try to get as much of the student body involved and knowledgeable about our organization and kind of the mission that they have. So, not only are we raising funds, but we're raising awareness as well.
Well, you guys are shining examples of the power of numbers and enthusiasm and the impact that we can make on our communities. We understand ticket sales have ended for this year's event, but there are other ways that people can still contribute, right, and be a part of it.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Yeah, inlowcharityball.org is our website, and that has more information about who we are as a cause and just Inlow Charity Ball. And if you'd like to donate directly, you can donate at bit.ly/ECBdonate.
Mimi and Malone, thank you so much for your efforts and good luck with Saturday's event. It's going to be great. Can't wait to hear the total amount.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For CASA. All right, Jeff.
Not just Saturday's event. How about all the stuff they're involved in? That is a great organization.
So impressive. It really is.
For the young kids, too. All right, well, we got to look at this now.
Oh, this.
I know,
We've been
right?
looking at this all day long.
Haven't we?
Well, yeah, but it's almost over. We're going to see the back edge of this moving through between 3 and 5 o'clock. And this is the back edge of it right now. So just west of Greensboro, it's already moved through Charlotte. That's our back edge right there. So really, as early as 3 o'clock, we'll see that back edge moving through our western counties, and it will continue to move eastward so that by 5 o'clock, it is all over. And then we see some big changes. We see a big drop in our temperature. The wind will continue to be gusty even after the rain moves through. We had a big, powerful band with heavy rain and strong winds that started to move into the viewing area right at noon, and that has really fizzled out. There's just not a whole lot of that left. Still a lot of rain, but that's not a big, powerful line anymore. It's really beginning to weaken. We want to go back out to Kelsey Coffee one more time, and you can see just south of Hillsboro is where the storm tracker is right now. It's not raining as heavily there as it was. This last bit of the rain as it moves through our viewing area is going to be a little lighter, but you can definitely see the windshield wipers working, and that's what we're going to see all the way up until, between 3 and 5 o'clock, depending on which part of the viewing area you're in. So it does remain messy for almost the rest of the day. We can see that on our cameras as well. Rain's falling in Fayetteville right now, as well as Apex and Chapel Hill, as well as Raleigh. So all the cameras that we look at really are seeing rain currently. But again, we're tracking the back edge of it. We'll watch that back edge sliding eastward. And again, by 5 o'clock, it's almost out of the viewing area. By 3 o'clock, the back edge is going to be right there around the triangle. So that's just 2 hours from now. After that, we see clearing skies, and we'll get a little bit of a break for a while. And we have added up some pretty good looking rainfall totals. Hillsboro right now at almost 2 1/4, a little over 1.5 inches in Pittsburgh, about 1.5 inches in Oxford, about 1.25 inches in Siler City, and a little over 1/2 inch in Wake Forest. So good looking rainfall totals. We really needed that. Our severe weather threat is along and east of I-95. It's a level 1 risk in our viewing area. But looking at the current scenario, that one band that looked like it was going to produce some severe storms has really started to weaken. That's good news. Still, it's not over till it's over, but definitely looking like that chance for severe storms is diminishing. We have another chance for rain Saturday night and into Sunday. It does not look like it will affect the Durham parade. We're excited about that. You can watch that on WRAL at 10 o'clock on Saturday. We're definitely going to see some colder air behind it, though. Temperatures are in the mid-60s right now. Behind the front, look at that, mid-30s in Kingsport, 44 in Nashville, 34 in Indianapolis. We're going to feel a much colder start tomorrow morning. So we go 32 Thursday morning, 30 on Friday morning, 32 Saturday morning, and then a high of 57 Saturday. We have some showers Sunday at 59, but even once we start to clear out and dry out, we have some warmer temperatures ahead, 64 on Monday and 68 on Tuesday, which puts us back above normal. We will be right back with your top stories. Stick around.
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. UNC appears to be taking the next step to hire a head football coach. The school's Board of Trustees is expected to hold an emergency meeting today. UNC, we understand, has made an offer to former Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. The board must approve the final contract before a head coach can be hired.
The state has called its first witness in a Raleigh murder trial. Opening statements wrapped up about an hour ago in the murder trial of Tazir Zarqa, who is charged with killing Mark Garrity. The state does not object to the fact that Garrity attempted to steal a Gatorade, but say he didn't deserve to be stabbed to death. Zarqa's attorney says his client was acting in self-defense. Check WRAL.com for live updates on this trial.
Today's a WRAL Weather Alert Day as we track storms moving across our area. The North Carolina Chinese Lantern Festival is closed tonight because of that incoming weather. If you purchased a ticket for tonight, your ticket will be honored any other night of the festival through January 12th, 2025. The festival is expected to reopen tomorrow.
Amazon is adding a new product to its website. cars. The site is partnering with Hyundai to sell vehicles online in 48 U.S. cities. Amazon features the entire buying process on their website, including browsing, ordering, pickup, even financing. The company says Amazon Autos is meant to simplify car shopping. It plans to partner with more vehicle makers starting next year. Most U.S. workers say they are satisfied with their job security, but when it comes to their pay, not so much. The survey found 69% of respondents say they are happy with their job security. 30% of respondents, though, say they are not too satisfied with how much they're being paid. The top reason people are not happy with their pay is because it has not kept up with the cost of living. Other reasons include low pay for high quality work or low pay for too much work.
Amazon is bringing back the Thank My Driver feature from last year's holiday season. You can ask Alexa to give $5 to whomever delivers your order at no extra charge to you. The promotion only applies to the first 2 million thank yous since the feature launched December 4th. Thank My Driver debuted in 2022, and Amazon says it has been used 40 million times since.
Our pet of the day is ready for his close-up. Meet Tiberius. At 3 years old, he may look like a big boy, but he's actually just a softie. He loves to cuddle, and Tiberius would love a super soft blanket so he can make biscuits and settle in for a nap. He's an easygoing kitty with people, but does prefer to be an only cat. And you can find out more about him on the Cat Angels website, maybe even meet him.
NBC News Daily is coming up next. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.